As you know Mr. Maloney, he's been a student since the mid-60s. He's done just about everything you can do in karate, from being a champion kata practitioner, to being a champion spider, to being a full-contact kickboxer, to being a trainer of kickboxers, to being a security specialist, to being an on and so forth and so on. Specialist in many areas. He's totally a complete martial artist. He's the father of Uechi Ryu karate in Canada and is responsible for all the Canadian Uechi Ryu that's proliferating today. The reason for it all. He began his study at the Matson Academy in Boston, like I did, many years ago. Now, I said last night, and I meant this, Mr. Maloney is truly a master. So you're in the presence of a real martial arts master this morning. He portrays three characteristics which will come through in his teaching. He's joyful, he's grateful, and he's humble. And his joy for what he does will come through in his teaching, and you'll see that immediately. He loves what he does. He's grateful for having studied Uechi Ryu and for all the associations he's developed in Uechi karate through the years, and that shows. And he's very humble because he's a servant, and he is of service to those he associates with. He's very well revered in the Indian nations in Canada. Mr. Maloney is a full-blooded Micmac Indian. And he spends most of his time now in service to his people and to underprivileged children and underprivileged youth. So he really represents the best of what a martial artist is. And as you will see momentarily, technique second to none. World class. It was interesting, as I introduced him last night, and just as he did his bow, there was a thunderous thunder from the sky, as if to say, welcome to the weekend. It was incredible. So without further ado, I would like to turn you all over to the capable hands of Sensei Jim Maloney.
Barbecue now. Enough of that stuff. I want to thank you very much, Buzz, for the honor of coming here and being able to spend time with such wonderful people and people that are so dedicated to the lifestyle of the art. And we have martial artists and we have karate people and kickboxing people. One of the things that I notice in this organization that the Buzz heads up is that all the people are dedicated to the lifestyle, to the way of Uechi Ryu. And that's what makes it so exciting for me to come and talk to people that share that lifestyle and that vision. And because the karate is one part, the technique is one very, very small part of the overall teachings that we get in our dojos, the concept of respect and sharing and working together. Those are all very, very important components, and every time I come here I meet the same people, and your generosity is always great, and you're always there for one another and for your instructor when they need things. So that's what martial arts is all about. The 1.5 to 2 hours, 2 or 3 times a week you put a gi on, that just identifies what style you're in. But I think that the overall concept of what you do really makes a difference. I have a good friend of mine, and a long-time friend, Warren Shea, who's here today. I'm really honored to see Warren and be with him. Warren and I go back a long way. I trained his son and his kids, and I eventually got Warren into the arts as well, and in his wonderful family. Wife Dolly, who's on the other side now, was a really good personal friend of mine, and they really looked after me while I was living here in the stateside. So it was really a pleasure to have that family connection. I would have probably left a lot sooner if I didn't have family like Warren's to go and kick back and eat dinner from, I guess, 7 till about 11:30 at night. I have traveled the world over, and I have never, ever experienced an experience anywhere else other than Warren's house. I've been everywhere. Buzz and Judy, again, longtime friends. It's just an honor to be here. And all the things, obviously, that Mr. Durkin is saying to me about me is, ditto. Okay, it's the same. It's equal. But he again, is a teacher of teachers and the organizer of organizers. And you see it in what he's done here. And because of Mr. Durkin that we have this success for a place like me to come in and teach. So who's who, really? The credit goes to Mr. Durkin. Here we go.
Okay, thank you. One of the things I was asked to do was teach some sparring techniques today, so what I thought we'd do was close the doors, I'll step outside, and I'll teach the winners. I'll be back in about 10 minutes. I'll try to sort you out. You're all the same color, but it'll be hard for me to pick legs and arms, but we'll see what we can do. All in the heat somewhere, right? Look good. Look good. Really good. What I want to do is, as you loosen up here, we're going to do a couple of katas just to familiarize your body with your muscle memories, things that you normally do. And then we'll get into a little bit of different stuff. Anything you have any questions on as we're training, feel free to ask, whatever it may be. I had an interesting, I was running a police seminar, and I was training the Pope's bodyguards up in Canada for executive protection. And they were asking questions about martial arts all week long, and I sort of stayed away from them. And at the end of the session, they said, oh, we're doing martial arts. So at the end of the session, they decided that maybe I'd work with them a little bit in martial arts. So it was about, out of the 60, 70 people that were in the course, there's probably about 5 or 6 real martial artists there. So they were training for an hour. So I went over, and they were doing some techniques, to make a long story short. But at the end of it, one guy was throwing a punch and a kick, and I said, that's not bad. I said, you got to throw a little bit more hip into the punch. He said, well, let me see. I said, throw a punch. So I let him hit me this time. I said, it's not bad. I said, come on, punch hard. He punched as hard as he could, and I stepped into him a little bit like that. His hand went like this here. I said, that's not bad. I said, what about your kicks? Oh, he said, that's my best thing. I'm a kicker. So I said, well, let me see your front kick. So he kicked me one time with a front kick there, and I said, not bad. No, you got to put a little bit more hip in there, and kick me again with the front kick. I said, that's not bad. And I could see him getting red and walking away. So one guy comes up and he says, oh yeah, he says, I've been studying the Kung Fu styles and the Taekwondo styles and stuff like that. And he says, Mr. Maloney, he says, I'm really into aerial techniques. I said, well, that's interesting. He said, yeah, what would you do about aerial techniques? Like that. And I said, well, of course, you know, you suck the guy in, right? Say, well, let me see what. So you see what the guy has got, right? So there's a whole bunch of people there now because they're all come in the room, and I'm actually doing the karate stuff. And of course, I got combat pants on and a police shirt, combat boots on. And so the guy comes running, he jumps up in the air, and he spins, and he does a reversing back kick in the air about, 8 feet in the air, whoa, like that, and then lands down. Like that. And he looked at me, I said, man, oh man, I said, I don't know. I said, that's awesome. I said, that's unbelievable. And everybody's going, yeah, oh yeah, he's really good. He won the Pan Am Games in the Police Association, the Pan Am Games. This guy is our champion. I said, wow. I said, well, let me see you do that again, like that. I said, this time kick right at me. So I'm standing like here talking. So as he come running, he jumped up in the air, and I ducked underneath like this, and I caught him in the air, and I turned him right upside down, like this here, and I had him here, and I said, in Canada, I said, this is how we get our coffee money. All this change was dropped out of his pocket like that. I went,
boom, dropped him down like that. Then I walked out. So I see them, they're all in the corner now. The guys are going over, the guys are coming over there and they're saying, man, you guys look like shit. And the guys are telling them, you guys embarrassed us. You know, I thought you guys are in there. Of course, the guys were busting them because these guys are all the martial artists. Right? And the guy says, what the F you want me to do? The guy's a karate master. That's what masters do. So don't do any aerial techniques today. Because you probably don't have any change. It's not worth my while to tip you upside down. But that was kind of a funny thing that happened on the way to the dojo. All right, we're going to do a Sanchin kata just as a group. Okay, and do that first. I want the orchestrator to run a Sanchin. Can you do a Sanchin?
I think so.
Sanchin?
I've done it once or twice.
Okay. No, really, it's really important because I play a different beat of the drum. So natural Sanchin is what I want to see. That's why I want Mr. Durkin to call it up for you. Okay.
Hi, Mr. Lever.
Sunset.
All right. Sanchin, escape, 3. All right, do your best. Right. Ditch. Speed. San. G. Turn. Ditch. Speed. San. G. Moate. Ditch. Speed. San. G. Double. Hey. Speed. Hey. Hey. Hey.
Very good, very good. Well, you know that kata. Okay, next. One of the things that as we start working out, we start doing the, can you guys hear me in the background there? Okay, right on. One of the things that we do as an individual and when we train, we come into this training with a lot of different backgrounds and our own personalities, and different sports that we do, different things that we've done in our lives, different experiences we've had in our lives. And one of the things that's really important when you start doing your katas, and we try to generate our own personalities into the concept of the training. So when you start sparring and you start doing your martial art in the freestyle, we should be able to recognize the style that you're doing from the way that you're fighting. And what happens far too often is we will do kata one way and then we will spar a different way. So we all look like kickboxers, or we look like kung fu fighters, or we look like taekwondo fighters, or different fighters, because the tournament concept lots of times brings us into that element of training. So we spend 90%, 95% probably of our time training in Uechi Ryu in one way, and then maybe 2%, 3% utilizing the sparring, which doesn't resemble our katas or our Uechi Ryu stances or anything that we do in that category. So 95% of our training is unrelated to what we do when we actually spar. And that's when we get drawn into, we get sucked into this other area as opposed to utilizing what we're training to do. So there's a specific reason why we do specific conditioning and stances, is so that we can hold ground or take ground, or we can challenge people as we want to fight. But if you're not utilizing that in your sparring, then your kata concept is not there. Okay, so you really have to feel your kata in your sparring. And the concept is to, no matter what you do, is you want to try to find your center, the center where you're the most strongest in your position of your stance or in your body for your size and your height. Now the stance represents a certain portion of your height to find your center. Okay? And that's also very, very important. It's about 39.40% of your height will be a perfect stance for everybody here. So if you're 5'9", you're looking at about a 28-inch stance. That'll give you a really good balance and good power for what you want. If you're too short, rather too shallow a stance, then you're not reflecting your center and you wouldn't have much power. Because a punch is nothing more than a fast push or a pull. So what I need you to do is I need you to get into, I want you to visualize something that you would push. You're going to be pushing something very, very heavy. And I want you to take a position of a stance and show me the height of something that you would really push. If you're just going to push something, show me where you would push it from, your particular height. Because the stance is going to come natural. Don't even look at your feet. Just find something. If you're going to push, say you're giving somebody a car a push or a wall, you're going to push something, show me the height of where you're going to push it. Okay, now, see, this is a karate thing. You're not going to push like that, right? You're going to push up. You're going to push like that, right? Everybody get into your pushing position. Show me that. Okay, now right where that is, that's your maximum amount of power. You wouldn't push up here, would you? You wouldn't push down there. This is called your going towards your center, okay? Your center, okay? 56% for men, 57% for women, center of your body height. That's where your center is. Okay? That's what you're looking for. So you're looking to get to that center for that push in area. Just hold that position, that push area. You will see that if I come up and touch you there, you're going to have maximum balance. That pushing area. Even if you're using one hand there, just extend your one hand, just push in that area. That's going to be your maximum pushing area. Okay? Now that's the area that you would be punching from. So what I want you to do is I want you, if you can see me, just turn to the person next to you, and I want you to get that guy's pushing area, and I just want you to touch him, like so. You can't do that. Now look what happens. You go offside, right? You go here. We go outside. We go there. But if we get into that pushing concept, the delts have to be exposed, so the delts are up, over. The delts are not back and down. The delts are up and over. That's the grizzly bear concept. That's your push. So now when you hit, that's the area here that you're hitting with. Look. The power he's hitting me with? That's his center. Okay? For his height. Okay? Now just turn and face your partner and just see if you guys can find that center with one another. Just a little push. You're not going to move. Keep your elbows in.
See, for me, that's all. I'll do this. You just do the push. And if you do this, you can go with your hook on right on. Just push away.
Elbows right in, guys. Elbows right in. Elbows towards your body. Right there. Elbows towards your body.
See, I go to the back. I come up with my toes.
Now you see how that reflection is? If you take too long a stance, it's no good because then my formula doesn't work. You're braced, but there's no pushing power. In other words, if this is extended beyond that, like 50% of your height, 45% of your height, then this is actually locked, and you're at the end of your power. You can only hold, but you can't push. Okay? This concept is you got muscle, hip, shoulder, you got the ability to start moving something. So, when we get into a fighting stance, and if we're fighting and we're up here, then we're away from our center. We're way up away from our source of power. So when we do Sanchin kata, right, because we're limited with the stance, we're saying toe and heel have to be in line. We're not at that 0.40% of our stance. Okay? So what do we do to compensate? We have to move the upper body as close as we can down to that center. Right? Otherwise, if I'm up here in Sanchin, I'm away from my center. I can't push anything up here. Right? So I go up and I touch you, you're going. Right? But if I move you, if you pull your shoulder down, towards your center, where you're the most strongest, right away, you're there. Okay? Because you really have to do that now because your stance is very, very shallow. So you have to compensate your height so that your shallow stance represents that 40% of your height. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? Okay. I think a lot when I'm sitting in the teepee up there, right? So, and I'll use my good friend Matt to come up here. Just if you can't, just sit down for a second. Don't look at your stance. Don't look at the floor. You know, you've been studying karate for 30 years, eh? You say, right Sanchin, the guy immediately goes. That didn't do that. I whispered to him. Okay, this here is a classical Sanchin stance he's doing. He's away from his center. He's away from his center. Because when he thrusts out there, he's away from his center. I can tell just by looking at him. So, you're in a shallow stance, so Matt, you need to bring that you need to. There's his center. Hold up. See the difference? Now he can hit. Now that's what he's hitting with. He's hitting with that balance. He's got the formula in place, and the stance represents the right proportion of his height, and his punch is migrating towards the center, so that he would have this. What is this? Isosceles triangle, right? This is the spear, the head of the arrow of his stance. See? So you need to know this stuff if you're going to be fighting. If I'm going to teach you sparring, this is the element that you got to think about. Because then you're going to take this Sanchin stance and the Sanchin body with this type of power into the fight. If you start kickboxing and you start all that stuff, that's okay. You're doing kickboxing. Okay? You're not doing Uechi Ryu. Because this here system here, this system here, he has automatic, okay, deflections here. Okay? These are all automatic deflections. Because he's in that proper position. Okay. These are all automatic movements. So even if my body comes in there and brushes, okay, I'm going to get this. If we get up top, we get this, that's what's going to happen. It's not going to have that resemblance of the Sanchin. So that's, as he's moving in with this concept here, the delts up, with the delts up, there we go. Okay, this is your protection here, over the top, that's it. With that up, now he can move in there with these angles, whatever else, the modified Sanchin stance, okay, with his .40, .39 actually it is, stance, just feel naturally, don't get into this like this. Just you get me where you're going to push me, just get into this naturally, you're going to push up to get. Is that how you push me? No. Okay, there it is. There it is. That's where it needs to be. That's your fighting stance. That's your fighting stance. Whatever you do, this is natural for him. And every one of you have that natural stance. That immovable stance. Okay, that's it. Pretty neat, isn't it? Just that very, very simple concept. So just for 2 minutes, I want you to pair off with your partner. Just do those little things with him, test him here, test him there. Let him get into that modified position. Remember, because I put him he's in a shallow stance, you got to bring your center down. Okay? Don't have your belt up like this here, like a lot of you guys do. Yeah, I'm doing karate. This is my center. So you think your center is right there somewhere. So have your belt down where it's supposed to be, down here. This is your center, in here. And your center for your power is right in here. That's where you want to be able to hit. That's where you're going to be able to kick. And that's where you're going to be able to pull from. If he's pulling from his center, that's the area. Look. Pull, pull her up. That's it. Pull, come on, pull. There you go. Okay, now, up high. Grab, pull. You're not going to be able to do anything there because, so remember, a punch is a push and a pull. That's all the punch is. A fast push and a pull from your center. Okay? Here. Okay? That's where you're coming from. Okay? Right from there. So now I know I'm hitting him with full velocity, right where I can hit and do that strong push. That strong push and hit. That's going to set up the fluid shock wave that I wanted to do, right? To shock the lungs and the heart. That's what I want to be able to do the damage that punch is designed to do. Not just boom, thud, point. No. Okay, we'll put him in shock. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to take his exchanges air for him a little bit and put his heart into a stall. And that's what happens with a good heart shock. Puts it in a stall and the guy goes and punches. Boom! So boxers do it even with a punching glove on. Okay, the ring. Heart shock. Bang! Boom! The guy goes down. So that'll happen. But we get so used to pulling the technique or choking the technique before it gets there because what are we doing? We're being too technical. A punch is a primal technique. Okay? It's what we've been doing for thousands of years. But we're making it a little bit more sophisticated here. If we take a primal technique and we put points, we get too technical for it in a situation of stress, it won't happen that way. Because it's what? Technical. Okay, let's get into that little bit of testing that I said. I'm doing that anyway, but I'm showing you why you're doing that. Okay? Showing you why you do that. Now, if you weren't restricted to toe and heel in line stance as you do in Sanchin, you would all find your center by doing this here, right? Like so. You just naturally find your center. But because I'm restricting you to a very shallow stance, you need to get down, you need to make changes to your height so that the stance represents the proper percentage of your height. So if you're in a shallow stance, then your height has got to be brought down so that your center is down more and close to that formula. Okay? If you're standing like this here, you really have to get right down like that. If your feet were side by each, right? You would really have to get right down like that there to try to get to that center, because now you're really compensating. Okay? Sanchin is here. You still got to find that center. And you notice that that center is toward your center. It's coming in toward your center. Toward your center. Not straight out like so. Okay. So when you do that circular move and that strike, just get that going for me there. Just show me this area here. Just drop that in there. Remember, that's got to be coming into your center. Up to my center. Okay? So we have that same concept of chi that anybody else has. I can do chi demonstrations. Okay? I didn't hug a tree. I didn't sit and think for a long time to find my center, find my chi. Right? It's the chi. There's a formula for the chi. And I just gave you the formula for chi. I just gave it to you. Okay? For your body height and size, you now have chi. Okay? So you all got chi now. I just gave you chi. Is that a good thing? Let's hear it. You got to say cheese. Should give you cheese. And that's where it is. So we're going to let you do that now in your Sanchin kata. We're going to do one more Sanchin kata. Mr. Dirk, come up and run another one. So what I want you to do is you're going to try to utilize that formula that I just talked about into your Sanchin. Okay? So every strike you do, you will try to do it from your best balanced position for your best centering. So what I need to see is I need to see a lot of delts like that. And I need to see a little bit of forward cant over in your stance. And I need to let you just let that rock and roll out there. Okay? Go ahead.
Can they let their chi show forth?
Let the chi flow.
Right, ready. Right foot.
Fine, now you should really be looking for your chi right now.
Right. Pitch.
Good step, relax.
B. Sun. Chi. Turn. Itch. B.
Nice.
Sun.
Ah.
Chi. Pull. Hey.
Remember, you're pushing and pulling here.
B.
Pushing and pulling.
Sun. Chi. Hey.
Aha. Perfect, great. Hey. Right on. Right on. Okay, I'm going to ask my colleague Lizette to do one kata for you and demonstrate these principles that I've been talking about for a while. Okay? So Lizette, can you do a kata for us? Lizette trains by herself lots of times, so this is the first time she's been in this area. Okay, what I want you to watch is how she's going to try and get to that chi position, how she will compensate for a basic position like this, and a total unrestrictive move. All I'm interested in is what's happening out at the end of the strike. So it looks a lot different kata than what you used to see.
Sanchin.
Hey! Sanchin kata. Hi, hi. Very good. Okay, so you're seeing right away, really getting down toward that chi area, and at the end you'll see coming up out of that height. Okay, this is a different height for her because of the limited stance. For her to have maximum pushing and pulling power, right, as we talked about, she needs to get down to that level of height for her chi. So I don't really restrict her. Just get there. That's what I want. Okay. What happens lots of times we get too restricted, and we're taking what used to be a primal move and making it a technical move, and then it takes away from when you need that. Okay. Now I'm guilty of that too. That's a whole process that we've done for a long time. And as you get older, in training, it's like your first kid and your last kid. The youngest kid gets to do everything they want. The other kids, Dad, I wasn't allowed to do that. How come I? Oh, don't worry about it, man. I'm tired of this stuff. So does that become is my arm thrust okay? Yeah, it's great. It's doing what it needs to do. Yeah, it's wonderful. Don't worry about it. Because I would find it very hard to go around and, no, your thumb's got to be in, your finger's got to be in, this has got to be in, man, la, 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 la. Okay? So make it more individual, more natural for her own height. And that's when I got a dozen students, well, 6 students. I try, well, if they do 3 katas, it's 18, right? Yeah. But no, we try to be as unrestricted as we can when we do that. So we're going to do one more kata as a group, and then I'll take you through this one. Okay, line back up. I'm going to talk you through this one. This is not going to be a tight, hard, focused kata. Okay? It's going to be a very, very simple kata. Now you can find, okay, we're not even doing bow, just hands by your side. Now roll your shoulder forward. Drop it forward. Now, Bus will tell you that we've gone from here to here to here 2 or 3 times in the changes that we've done over the years in the katas. So you can find your center by rolling to the front or rolling down to the side. Okay? But I need you to find your center because guess what? Our feet are parallel, so we're really restricted now at this point. So we got to find that center. Now put your hands out in front like this. Don't tighten up. Just show me where you push from that stand. You're there. You're there. Okay, now, back on the side. Okay. Step off. Hands back. Drop. In. Stance. To your center again. Over the top. Just relax the hands. All I'm interested in is your center. Your hands are like this when you're doing the kata this time. Loose, 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 loose. Okay? So you're going to thrust like this. This is what Dan's going to leave on the video, I know. Okay, so you're over on top like that. And remember where that thrust is going to come? It's going to come to your center, towards your center, just like you're pushing something. So show me your center right there, where you're going to find it. That's where it is, right there. And good. We're always centering off the rear foot. Let's everybody get in the same stance. Let's everybody get in the left stance. That's your center. Okay. And all I want you to do as you go through this kata is I want you to find your center and dump it there. Okay? Go ahead. Find your center. Dump. Good. Now step. Find your center, feel your balance over, dump, push. Good one, step, find your center, over the top, dump. Yeah. Again, center, dump, turn. Find your center right away. Now I should be able to come and lean on you now because you've got perfect centering, okay? Your shoulders are not tight, just over. Just over. Relax, you guys are all uptight here. Relax. Don't get all uptight, okay? You white guys are way too serious for me. Making me nervous. All right. Center again. Up. Find your center. Drop. Nice. Up. Good. Up. Turn. Oh, nice one. Nice one. Perfect. Up. Good one. Find your center. Nice. Up. Good. Good one. Up. Your center. Not too tight. You guys are way too tight. Say your name. What's your name? What's your name? How you doing today? Everything is cool? Cool. Right on. Okay. We're going to do just double thrusting from your center. Go. Double thrust. No, you can't come up out of it. You got to stay. That's remember it's a pull and a push. Do a few more. Yeah. Good one. All right. Great. Okay, rest. Rest. Very good. That's good. You know something? When you step each time, and you're doing this properly, I should be able to put my hand across the chest here, and you'll have problems. You will have no problems advancing to the front. Okay? Marcus, I'll use you. Right here. Just get out of the stance. Okay. Nice and relaxed. Just thrust, center, step. Okay? That's what I want. Thrust. Step. That's what I want. See, he's hitting me with his chi, right? His chi is coming, boom, coming through there. Now, if he's not centered, step. Okay? It's not going to happen for him. Okay? So you need this center so that, because of the stance, so that you're going to be operating in there with that level of force coming toward your opponent, so that you can deal with what's coming towards you and you can set up a proper attack. Okay? Whether you're dealing with pit bulls, tigers, and lions, okay, this part, okay, of the attack is paramount. This weight, this mass, this centering going in on prey is what makes the attack successful. If this is not in it, if your heart is not in it, then the success of the attack will be very limited, because you can't go in like that. Anything you hit is going to stop you, deflect you, what have you. It's okay if two people are both doing that, okay? Then you're fighting this way. You're fighting like cranes, right? It's okay. You can do that now and then. But there's also a tiger here, too. And the tiger concept is over. And so you're moving here. So you're moving and you're looking for prey, right? Our eyes are in front of us, right? Okay? We're hunters. Our eyes were on the side of our heads, we'd be game, right? Our eyes are in front of us, so we are what? Predators. We are predators. That's why we have eyes in front of us. I know you vegetarians don't like that, but that's what you are, and live with it, okay? All right. Okay, we're going to do one more kata just like as a group, and then we'll get into some fun stuff. We'll take a minute's break. Okay, one more kata as a group. This is going to be your regular Sanchin kata, utilizing the concept of centering. Do not restrict your moves. This is not a technical move, it's a primal move. It's a natural movement. Do not restrict it. Let it fly out as far as it wants to go, the distance, that the maximum distance, so that the elasticity in your arms Okay? Gets that movement way out there. Okay? If you restrict it too much, you're going to have a little short thrust like that with a little short stance that's going to have a little bit of effort. You want to let that thing go. Whoa! Way out there. Okay? It'll surprise you the distance you're going to get. All right, Sanchin. Hi! Find your center. Hi! I'm going to give you the count, unfortunately. Normally I don't give the count, but I'll give you the count because I want everybody to move in the same way. Loosen that shoulder up. Just loosen up a little bit. Find in that center. Find in that center. And really dump it. Hi! Good. Yeah, slowly unrestricted. Now you got to exaggerate for me. You're being too technical here. Hi! Ah, that's it. Hi! There. Beautiful. Up! 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 There. Oh, man. Up! Up! Find your second. Find your second. Up! Double. Whip. Push. Nice. Push. Come on. Up! 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 Okay. You should still be in your center. Put your hands both out in front of you like you're pushing right there. Show me where you would push from. I should be able to come there and touch you. I should be able to come here and touch you. Oh, okay. Close gate. Good. Right. Very good. So you started from your center and you ended in your center. Ended in your center.